In a packed courtroom, the air crackled with tension. I stood there, heart pounding, as my ex-fiancé Richard, a ruthless corporate lawyer, tore my reputation to shreds. He painted me as a gold digger, a schemer, someone who had trapped him for his family's wealth. His words were poison, each one a dagger twisting in my gut. The jury's eyes were cold, the judge's face unreadable. I had loved this man, trusted him. And now he was publicly crucifying me over a business deal gone wrong, a deal he had sabotaged. I felt small, exposed, utterly alone. The whispers from the gallery were like 1,000 tiny cuts. My own lawyer, flustered and outmatched, could barely get a word in. I was losing everything. My reputation, my career, my future. Just as the judge was about to deliver his final blow, a sudden commotion erupted at the back of the courtroom. The heavy oak doors swung open with a deafening bang. Every head turned. There, framed in the doorway like a figure from a dark fairy tale, stood him, Vincent the Viper Costello, the city's most feared and revered mafia boss. His presence was a physical force, sucking all the air out of the room. He was dressed in a tailored suit that seemed molded to his powerful frame, his dark hair slicked back, and his eyes, cold as glacial ice, scanned the room before locking onto mine. A collective gasp rippled through the gallery. Even the judge seemed frozen, gavelled halfway to his desk. Richard's smug expression faltered, replaced by a flicker of pure, unadulterated fear. Vincent moved with a predator's grace, his footsteps silent on the marble floor. The crowd parted for him like the sea, a path clearing as if by magic. He walked straight towards the witness stand, his gaze never leaving my face. It was an intense, possessive look that made my breath catch. He stopped directly in front of Richard, who was now visibly trembling. Vincent didn't even glance at him. He looked at me, and for the first time, I saw something other than coldness in his eyes, a flicker of something protective, something fierce. He reached out, his hand gently touching my chin, tilting my face up to meet his.
Ah!
The gesture was shockingly tender, a stark contrast to his fearsome reputation. A low murmur spread through the courtroom. What was happening? I hadn't seen Vincent in years. Not since a chance encounter where I'd shown him a small kindness, a moment I thought was long forgotten. Why was he here now? Ignoring the judge, the jury, and my stunned ex-fiancé, Vincent spoke. His voice was a low, dangerous rumble that carried to every corner of the room. "Is this man bothering you, Mia Cara?" he asked, his thumb gently stroking my cheek. The Italian endearment sent a shiver down my spine. I was too shocked to speak, so I just gave a slight, almost imperceptible nod. Vincent's eyes darkened. He finally turned his attention to Richard, a slow, predatory smile spreading across his lips. It was a smile that promised pain. "You have a big mouth," Vincent said, his voice dropping to a whisper that was somehow more terrifying than a shout. "You've been using it to speak ill of what belongs to me." Richard's face went pale, a sheen of sweat breaking out on his forehead. What are you talking about? I don't know you," he stammered. Vincent chuckled, a low, humorless sound. "But I know you, Richard, and you've made a very, very big mistake." He leaned in closer, his voice dropping even lower. "You see, this woman," he said, gesturing to me without taking his eyes off Richard, "is under my protection. And everything she owns, her business, her reputation, it's all mine now. Which means you've been trying to steal from Vincent Costello." The name hung in the air, a death sentence. The entire courtroom held its breath. The judge looked like he wanted to disappear. Richard looked like he was about to faint. My mind was racing. Under his protection? Since when? What did this mean? Vincent then turned to the judge, his tone shifting from menacing to one of absolute command. "This proceeding is over," he declared, not asked. "All charges are dropped. This misunderstanding has been resolved." The judge, looking between the terrifying mafia boss and the pale-faced lawyer, swallowed hard. "Mr. Costello, this is a court of law. There are procedures," he began, but his voice trailed off as Vincent gave him a look that could curdle milk. "Are there?" Vincent asked softly. "Or are we all going to agree that a mistake was made and we can all go home? My time is very valuable." The threat was unspoken but crystal clear. The judge glanced at the jury, at Richard, and then back at Vincent. He cleared his throat. It seems there has been a significant misunderstanding. Case dismissed." His gavel came down with a final hollow thud. A wave of relief so powerful it almost buckled my knees washed over me. But it was immediately replaced by a new kind of fear, a thrilling, terrifying uncertainty. Vincent turned back to me, his expression softening once more. He held out his hand. "Come," he said simply. It wasn't a request. I looked at his outstretched hand, then at Richard, who was slumped in his chair, defeated. I looked at the shocked faces in the gallery. My old life was over, destroyed in this courtroom. But a new one was just beginning. Hesitantly, I placed my hand in his. He pulled me gently from the witness stand and wrapped a protective arm around my waist, pulling me close to his side. He led me out of the courtroom, the crowd parting before us. No one dared to meet his eyes. As we walked down the grand marble hallway, I could feel the heat of his body, the strength in his arm. I had been humiliated, broken, and left with nothing. Now I was walking away with the most powerful man in the city. He had claimed me in front of everyone. But was I saved? Or had I just been captured? As we stepped out into the blinding sunlight, a sleek black car pulled up to the curb. A driver in a dark suit held the door open. Vincent guided me inside before sliding in beside me. The door closed, shutting out the world. The silence in the car was thick. I finally found my voice. "Why?" I whispered, looking at him. "Why did you do that?" Vincent turned to me, his intense gaze pinning me in place. "Because no one disrespects what's mine," he said, his voice a low growl. "Years ago, you showed kindness to a stranger when no one else would. I don't forget debts, and I don't forget faces." He reached out and tucked a stray strand of hair behind my ear. "You were in trouble," he continued, his voice softening. "I took care of it. From now on, you don't need to worry about men like Richard. You're with me now." His words were a strange mix of threat and promise, a cage and a sanctuary all at once. I didn't know what my future held. I had traded a corporate shark for a real one. But as the car sped away, leaving my old life in the dust, I felt a strange sense of exhilaration. I was no longer a victim. I was the possession of Vincent Costello. And in his dangerous world, maybe that was the safest place to be. I didn't know if this was a rescue or a kidnapping, but one thing was certain. My life would never be the same again. A part of me, a part I didn't know existed, couldn't wait to see what happened next. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.